Very much and good morning.
I hope you're doing well, huh?
Well, we're doing well. It's been quite hectic since the elections. There's been a lot of work that we're doing in organized local government, in the ANC, reorganizing ourselves. But otherwise, we're doing well.
The reason why we have you in studio with us today is really to wish you all the best about the new roles. Even more to your plate. Congratulations on your election as the chairperson of the South African Local Government Association. So, congratulations on that, Abut.
Well, thank you very much. Firstly, let me congratulate the former chairperson. He was sworn in as a member of parliament this week, Thabo Manyoni. He's indeed done sterling work as chairperson of the South African Local Government Association. And he joins a number of other former local government leaders in parliament. Earlier, Mondli Kungubele, the former mayor of Ekurhuleni, was also sworn in as a member of parliament. And they joined people such as Amos Masondo, our former mayor in Johannesburg, Striker Lugoma, a former member of the Mural Committee. So I think the contingent of local government leaders that are contributing to national government is increasing, and very capable people are being sent into parliament. But that notwithstanding, I'm overwhelmed by the support I had received after Councillor Manyoni resigned from my colleagues in the National Executive Committee, who asked me to step in as the chairperson of SALGA, and by extension enabling us to continue with our campaign for the World Presidency of United Cities and Local Government.
Now, let's talk about SALGA first before we speak about the other role. So what exactly are you going to be responsible for as chairperson of SALGA?
Well, ultimately, SALGA is the mouthpiece of local government. It continues to lobby and represent local government. SALGA is represented in the National Council of Provinces. The chairperson of SALGA sits in the extended cabinet of the Republic and represents local government in the Presidential Coordinating Committee and other important forums at a national level. So this is about representing the interests of local government in the country. SALGA is also the employer body and representatives of the municipalities in the negotiations and bargaining on behalf of local government with labor. So that's also an important role. But it's also about supporting member municipalities and capacity building, because it is a member-based organization. So the organization needs to service its members and ensure that it's able to build capacity and support the members.
And now, last week there was a SALGA conference held at Empress Palace. A lot happened on that day, and we heard of a walkout that happened. Tell us about what went down, and of course you also were you addressed those who were in attendance, and tell us your message that you relayed on that day.
Last week was the Gauteng Provincial Conference of SALGA. We were electing a new leadership. I was stepping down as the provincial chairperson of SALGA in Gauteng, and we're electing a new leadership. Now SALGA works on the basis of one municipality, one vote. So all the municipalities had the right to vote for their preferred leadership. The ANC offered the Democratic Alliance 3 seats, including one of the deputy chairpersons. You would know that the ANC is responsible for 8 out of the 11 municipalities, if you think about it. Because we always say that Mogale City is a hung municipality, so to say. So the ANC is the majority, and we offered the DA 3 seats, with one of them being that of a deputy chairperson. The DA demanded to be chairperson. They demanded to have an additional deputy chairperson and 3 seats. And in essence, that would have meant that, in fact, the ANC would be giving away everything. When we didn't concede to that, the DA, together with the EFF and others, walked out of the meeting, which we think is unfortunate, because in fact it was a gesture on our side to say that we think that they should continue to serve in the South African Local Government Association. If you think about it, the DA, together with their partners, when they vote, do not necessarily offer the ANC anything. But we went out of our way, understanding the role of SALGA, to offer them seats, but for them to then say, no, actually we don't just want seats, we actually want to literally take over, notwithstanding the fact that you are the majority, was quite unfortunate.
Now, Comrade Parks, just with regards to your message on the day, I mean, what are one or two issues that you dealt with?
With regards to the SALGA Gauteng conference,
Yes.
A number of issues. One of the issues that we've been pursuing in Gauteng is about pooled financing mechanisms. The city of Johannesburg, under the previous administration, and SALGA initiated a process of pooled financing and agreed with the member municipalities to raise an instrument that would finance water infrastructure jointly by the municipalities in Gauteng. This would have been the first pooled financing mechanism tool that was used on the African continent, and we urge member municipalities to continue implementing it under the auspices of SALGA, working with the Gauteng provincial government and national government, in particular the Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation. We're keen that it continues because it creates new financing instruments that are off balance sheet for member municipalities and ensures that we're able to address the water losses that we're experiencing. This in an environment where we're currently experiencing water restrictions. We should ensure that we're able to mitigate on the demand side. So we are very keen that our members continue with that, and SALGA would continue to champion this. We also spoke about continuing to build the capacity of our municipalities to deliver services better. We understand that particularly in a province like Gauteng, where you have high levels of urbanization, our municipalities feel a lot of pressure in terms of providing infrastructure to their people. So it is about providing the necessary support to the municipalities to undertake their responsibilities.
You also touched on e-tolls, or is it something for now, that issue?
Well, we touched on e-tolls. We said as local government, we made our submission that it is not in the best interest of our member municipalities, because these cause a diversion onto the local roads, because when you introduce an urban tolling system, what it creates is a diversion onto local roads, which are mainly municipal roads. So we thought that that's a particularly important issue that needs to be factored into the discourse. We also said that if you look at the spatial configuration of our cities, the people that live furthest away from where the urban opportunities are the poorest. So those are the people that bear the brunt of the e-tolls, because the people that are wealthy live closer to where their opportunities are, and they have less of a requirement to actually use these tolled roads, so to say. So proportionally, the poor are likely to pay more for the tolling of the ring road or the ring road around the province of Gauteng. So we were arguing as local government that this impacts in particular on the poor, and therefore in the review process of the e-tolls, these matters need to be taken into account.
All right, I know you need to leave to another interview, Comrade Parks. Just one last one is to congratulate you on the appointment or the nominations for the UCLG nomination. I remember you telling us you will be going to Bogota, and we didn't know Bogota. So next week we're via, and are you looking forward to that?
Bogota, Colombia, yes. We're looking forward to it. It is a campaign. There are two candidates for the presidency. It's myself and the mayor of Kazan in Russia. So the lobbying still continues. It's a conference like any conference. It could yield any results. So we're going into it with a degree of confidence, but understanding that it is a conference. There could be bargaining, but we are quite confident of winning the presidency. I'm overwhelmed by the fact that colleagues on the African continent immediately after the elections in August called and said, we still want you to continue standing as president of UCLG, and that we've received support from other cities throughout the world, cities such as Paris, Montreal, and those sort of cities have continued to say, we have confidence in you and would want you to continue in your candidacy and hopefully in presidency of the United States and local government.
All right, Tabuti, let's let you go, and thank you very much for coming through to Bugwale Rona 1912, and wish you all the best in everything that you do. And Ovaling.
We're leaving on Monday morning.
Yeah.
We're leaving on Monday morning. We'll be going to Bogota, and from Bogota we have to be part of the local government delegation in whatever capacity to the Habitat 3 that's taking place also in Latin America, in Quito, in Ecuador. And this is an important forum for the United Nations that would be discussing the future of our cities. So the next 2 weeks would be doing international work on behalf of the people of this country and the people of the cities of the world. So we're looking forward to that work. And let me also take this opportunity to congratulate 1912. The work that you've been doing is sterling. You're growing by leaps and bounds, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Abuti, and we wish you all the best. And we wish you all the best. And
thank you very much.
Right, so we're
That is taking place in the next 2 weeks in Quito, Ecuador, to talk about the new urban agenda, and urban policy is very much an integral part of those discussions, and Johannesburg has become an important reference point. So I think that our contribution through experience, but also through participating in the discourse, has been important. And when you talk about it, you're talking about everything that a city does, isn't it? When you're talking urbanism, you're talking about urban mobility, you're talking about urban human settlement, you're talking about infrastructure development, sustainability of infrastructure, you're talking about economic and social development. So when you're talking urbanism, you're talking about the whole urban fabric and how that interfaces with the people and users of a city. A second program that I think is very important in the city of Johannesburg is the Vulindlela Jozi program. It's about a focus on youth development, breaking down barriers to entry for young people in particular, but also broadly for citizens in Johannesburg to opportunities. And Vulindlela Jozi is exactly about that. It has been held as alongside that of Toronto, #1 in terms of city youth development strategies.
Now, to these areas here that you have been nominated to serve in the advisory board, advisory boards, I forgot the name.
The World Resources Institute.
Yes, World Resources, yes. Okay, so let me ask you, how are you going to deal with that part? And also, I hear that you are also part of SALGA. Are you going to be there full time, or is it perhaps just advisory you'll be making from here?
No, all these responsibilities are part-time.
Okay.
It's an important question. All of them are part-time,
Yes.
but they demand a lot of time.
Yeah.
I mean, the World Resources Institute Advisory Panel meets on an annual basis. The World Resources Institute is an international think tank and research body that looks at issues such as cities, issues such as urban poverty, food security, issues around transport. So I've been appointed as a member of the advisory panel on sustainable cities. But that's not particularly demanding. It doesn't meet every month. SALGA is, as we know, the South African Local Government Association.